हॅलो.
येस मेघा.
हा, अजून नाही केलेलं. काय सेटअप करायचं?
नाही, तू फक्त चेक कर की माझा आवाज वगैरे क्लिअर येतो ना.
हा, येतोय, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
क्लिअर राईट. लाईट सफिशियंट आहे ना.
हो हो.
ओके.
हं.
मी फक्त एकदा प्रेझेंटेशन काय करतो. दिसतंय?
एक मिनिट, प्रेझेंट होतीये. हा, दिसतंय.
फाईन. सो फुल स्क्रीन करतोय मी.
सगळ्यांना ऍडमिट करूया.
होतंय ना स्क्रीन शेअर?
होती काही प्रॉब्लेम.
ओके, फाईन फाईन फाईन.
ठीक आहे, घेऊया स्टुडंट ऍडमिट करून.
येस येस, नो प्रॉब्लेम. इट्स ऑल.
ठीक आहे सर, ऍडमिट करा मुलांना. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू. लेफ्ट करू.
Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Good morning, all of you.
Left करूँ?
The session will start within 5 minutes. So just wait for
Hello.
5 minutes.
All of you
Good morning,
hear
all
me?
of you.
Yes, ma'am.
The session will start
Okay.
within 5
Good
minutes.
morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar.
All of you
My
hear
name
me?
is Megha Patil
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
am Assistant Professor at Vivekanand College, Kolhapur. Good morning and welcome everyone. Before starting the webinar, I would like to give some instructions to participants. My name is Megha Patil
Yes,
and
ma'am.
first and one more important instruction. Once you join the meet, please do not starting the from meeting. I would like to give some instructions. If possible, on your videos
Yes,
and
ma'am.
off and one more mute your audios. Once you join the meet, then one more important instruction is if you have any queries during the presentation, type them into the chat box. I will bring them up during the presentation. Then we will also have time questions at the end. So today we are presenting evolution of IT operations. During the presentation, for that purpose, we are having Mr. Amol Sapkar sir. Now I request our HOD Vijay Pujari sir to introduce our resource person and to take over the session. Mr. Amol Sapkar sir. Now I request our HOD Vijay Pujari sir to introduce our resource person and to take over the session. Mr. Amol Sapkar sir. Now I request our HOD
Thank you, Patil
Vijay
madam.
Pujari sir to introduce our resource
First,
person
I
and to
express
take
my deep
over the
gratitude
session.
to
Mr.
our
Amol Sapkar
Sanstha
sir.
founder,
Now I request our
Shikshan
HOD
Mahasi Dr. Patil madam,
Vijay Pujari sir
who
to
established
introduce
this
our
first
resource
Sanstha
person
with the
and to
motto
take over the
Jnana,
session.
Vidyan and Susanskar, Vyasadi Shikshan Prasad, and our Sanstha Mata Srimati Sushila established this first Sanstha. Good morning, one and all, and warm welcome to all this webinar. And our Sanstha nowadays in IT sector there are lots of good morning one and all in different areas of work to all, but our students are known about only few nowadays area like programming, testing. Good morning. Today's webinar is for your information about such opportunities. We are very fortunate to have such eminent personalities as a resource person for today's webinar. I introduce our today's resource person. We are very fortunate to have such Mr. Amol Satkar sir as 12 years of experience in IT field. He has worked in many MNCs like Wipro, Tech Mahindra. He has worked for many international clients of such like British Telecom, A&G, Telnet Groups like Wipro, Tech Mahindra. ITIS for Wipro Foundation certified like and recently he's worked as senior consultant in Terra Data India Private Limited. Wipro Foundation certified. Now I request Satkar sir to take over the session. India Private Limited. Over to you, sir. Now I request
Thank you, sir.
Satkar sir
I
to
am
take
audible
over
and
the
visible to everyone.
India Private
Just a
Limited. Over to you,
Okay,
sir. Now
thank you. Thank you very
I
much.
request
Thank you, sir, for this great intro. I am audible and visible. Good morning to everyone. Just who have joined this meeting. Okay, thank you. I have been told that there will be thank you, sir, for this great all over the Kolhapur, audible, Satara, Karad. Good morning to other parts of India as well. Who have joined this and I'm really happy that I see the attendance is going more than 100 all over the Kolhapur. So yes, you have learned. Good morning to other parts who have joined as well. And I'm really Sunday. I see that it's Saturday, right? Because Saturday and Sunday is off. Yes, you have learned IT guys. So we treat Saturday as a Sunday. Yes, Sunday it's great to see the great attention, right? And as Sarah mentioned, today all top IT guys, we treat Saturday as a Sunday. As Sarah mentioned, it's great to see the great. My name is Amol Sat, and as Sarah mentioned, today all top IT guys, as a senior consultant, and the experience. My name is Amol Sat, and as Sarah mentioned, whatever I have shared, it's what I've learned as a senior consultant in the past 12 years. I've spent experience in IT. My name is Amol Sat with the MNCs like Wipro, Tech Mahindra, Teradata, as a senior consultant. There are various companies I've worked for in IT, and there are different roles in MNCs like Wipro, Tech, which are available in IT. So, what are my target audience in IT? And if you are joining the session, and if you are someone who is tech available in IT, so what are my target audience? And if you are someone who is joining the session that one day, if you are someone who is tech available in IT, then this session is my target audience. Because as I have mentioned, most of the session has no idea what kind of work IT happens. Then if I ask you, what are the because as I have mentioned, IT, what are the fields? One can go in IT. I'll give few answers. If I ask you, what are the testing, as I have mentioned, are networking fields. So those are the fields which everybody is aware of. If I ask you, what are the testing, you break that class. That these are not. So those are the fields which one can work. If I ask you, there are tens of thousands of important class. That these are not. So today I'm gonna share my experiences, what I've seen. There are different of things that we have in IT that we can pursue. I'm gonna take you through the journey of the last 10 years, and I'm gonna show you the picture how I have seen it in IT that we can pursue. I'm sure I'm gonna take you through the journey and I have 10 years too, and I'm gonna show you my picture how I have seen it. Let me start. I'm sure I'm gonna take you through the journey that we're gonna see today. Just let me know when you are able to this. Let me start. I'm sure I'm gonna take you through the journey that we're gonna see today. Just let me know when you are able to this. Visible start. I'm sure I'm gonna take you through the journey that we're gonna see today. Can anyone confirm visible that the screen is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see the whole presentation, right? Visible
Yes.
that the screen is
Yes, sir.
visible now. Got it? So this is about the evolution of IT operation. Okay, you can see the whole before taking you through this presentation.
Yes.
I would like to share a very famous quote which I really like. Evolution of IT operation. Ask God before taking you through what you
Yes.
deserve, not what you desire. Very famous quote which I really desires may be few. Ask God before taking you through what you deserve. Understand not what you desire. Because always ask maybe few you deserve. But God is not in what you deserve. With this, let's start our today's presentation. Let's make an interactive session, guys, so that it should not be a monotonous session where I do all the talking. And let's start our other presentation. Let's make an interactive session, guys. Let's make it interactive. Whenever I ask any question, I'll appreciate it. And let's start our other providing the answers. The answer could be right, wrong, doesn't matter. Let's make it interactive. Whenever I ask any question, and not only students, all the faculty members will provide the answers. If you know, the answer could be right, wrong, alright, doesn't matter. Let's start evolution of IT operations, and not only students. So, what will be the today's agenda? What are the topics and answers for today's meeting? Alright, doesn't matter. Let's start servers, reasoning of servers and the data centers. So, what will be the today's agenda? Data centers part, then there were some traditional data center server setups, reasoning of servers on the data center. So, what will be today's agenda? That part, data centers part, then there were some traditional data center shorted solutions, reasoning of servers on the data center. Next will be rise of cloud computing. Unless you are living in the wrong, what you are the shorted solutions, cloud computing. Next will be everybody cloud computing. Unless you are living in the wrong. So I'm gonna talk you through the journey of cloud computing, in which there are three major parties which have a huge market share of the cloud market. So I'm gonna talk you through AWS, GCP, we're gonna touch base on that. Then we're gonna see my basics huge market cloud market. Now, I'm sure if you are someone who are following the trend, you must then already be aware of this. If you are not following this, don't worry. That's why I'm here. If you are someone who are following this topic, at the end we're gonna have the question. If you are not following this, I'm gonna spare some time. That's why I'm here. If you are someone who are following this topic, at the end we're gonna have the question. If you are not following this, I'm gonna spare some time. That's why I'm here. If you are just do this one time. At the end we're gonna have the question. If you are not following this, I'm gonna spare some time. One time, just do this one time. At the end we're gonna have. There you go. If you are not following this, I'm gonna spare some time. One time, just do this one time. At the end we're gonna have. There you go. Now it is visible. If you are not following this, I'm gonna spare some time. One time, just do this one time.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Now it is visible. I think there is some issue with the network bandwidth. It's taking some time. Don't worry, my voice is clear, right? It's reaching you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now it is visible. I think there is some issue with the network. Okay, great. So these are the topics. Don't worry, my voice is clear, right? It's reaching you.
Yes, sir.
Just let me know in between if there is some issue, you're not able to hear my voice. The presentation is not visible because once I switch to this full screen mode, I won't be able to. Just let me know in between if there is some issue, you're not able to hear. Just keep that in mind. Presentation is not visible. These are the topics we're going to cover. Let's start with the first topic. As I was talking here, there is going to spare some time at the end. Just keep that in mind. Doubts, if you have any. If you have any doubts, just note it down. Take it at the end of the session. So that there is going to spare some time at the end. Alright, let's start. First question, everyone. If you have any doubts, just note it down. Why? Simple question. Let's start. Anyone's question, everyone. If you have any doubts, just note it down. What is the meaning of server? Why? Anyone? Simple question. Let's start. Anyone's question.
Server has the responsibility to distribute the data over the network.
That's correct. Right? Simple question. That is correct. That is one
Server has
aspect.
the responsibility to
But when we go to the basics,
distribute the data
why
over the network.
server? That's correct. Server is simple question. What do you mean by server?
Server has the responsibility. Server means shares the data to the lot of machines which are
That's
connected.
server is simple question.
Okay, they are sharing the resources. Server means shares the data to the lot of
File
machines
server.
which are
File
connected.
server is a lot of
Okay,
data.
they are sharing the resources. Server means shares the data, maybe email server or
File server.
internet server. There are a lot of servers available.
There are a lot of servers, right? So what we are discussing here is
Means shares the
applications.
data, maybe
Why
email server or
servers are needed? What are
server. There are a lot of servers available.
there are a lot of servers, right? This what we are in a layman terms, right? Forget about IT and
Maybe
why
email server or
server is nothing but more powerful to computer. I have a laptop in a layman terms, right? Forget about text of
maybe
why
email server.
the server is nothing more powerful, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. I have a laptop more powerful layman terms, right? Forget about text. If you look into a server have the same component as more powerful, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. I have a laptop more powerful layman terms, right? Internet. If you look into the server is a machine which is more powerful and it has a computation power. Whatever task you do at internet, if you look into the server is an unique server which is more powerful and everything it has a computation power. Whatever task you power. Right now, everybody is studying different part of the world. Still, you are connected in the meeting. You can see the presentation. You can hear my voice. Right now, everybody is studying different part of the world. Still, you are connected in the servers. That's why we servers. And when we talk about IT, it's all about servers and the network. Still, you are connected in the servers. So, that was a question. We that's what answer everything that we are doing right now. It's all about servers and the network. Somebody might be telling, that was a question. Mobile. That's what answer everything that we are doing right now. Now servers and the network. Somebody might be power. That was a question. Mobile. Any that's what answer everything that we are doing right now. Now internet. Why is the computing? Why the computing might be simple examples are shown. Mobile. If you have hosted website, has to be hosted on web server. Now, if you are working on an application, like Google Meet application, simple examples are shown. Mobile. It is hosted somewhere on the Google server. Has to be hosted on storing a data like server. When you are working on an application, store a data on a server, it can share. It is hosted somewhere anybody can access it. Storing a data like server. Watching videos, YouTube, playing store a data, everything you name it. There will be a server. It is hosted somewhere anybody can access work. Behind the internet, watching videos. This is about the server data. You name it. In order to host the server, what would we need? It's not a normal computer that you have watching videos. This is about the server data. You name it. In order to host some special requirements, it's not a normal computer that you have host the server. Let's see what are those. Uninterrupted power special requirements. These are normal power connectivity or power outage. Let's see what are those. And here I have one more request to everyone. Any point if I get disconnected, give me some time. I'll rejoin because the power supply internet. And here I have one more request to high places where any point all are in India. I get disconnected. So give me some. In order to host server, rejoin because the power supply internet connectivity and where any point why there is a need of disconnected. So because if you know visit host any data center. What a data center connectivity, and it has lots and lots of computers racked. So because one visit any data center, and as I said, what a data center servers that we have, and it has lots and lots of they emit lots and lots of because one that's why any data center, and as I said, what a data center servers that we have, and it contains sensitive data. They emit lots and lots of band. One band is why any data center, and as I said, username, password, all the bank related data contains sensitive. I don't want anybody to get that data. That's why physical security is important. If you are hosting server somewhere, you need physical security. Sensitive. It's point server. It's physical security is important. If you are hosting server somewhere, you need earthquake, flood, like what we experienced 2 years ago in Kolkata. Imagine there is a data center in Kolkata. Flood, earthquake, flood, like what we experienced 2 years ago in Kolkata. Really bad. Imagine there is a data center. We collected the options. All the other information will be lost. Now, if you take this example and imagine your data ban, so we collected this damage, immediately everybody is found in information. Now, if you take this example and imagine your data ban, which obviously nobody wants, damage, server immediately everybody is found in information. Natural calamities. And everybody example and imagine that's why, which obviously nobody wants, damage, server immediately check who's gonna get the access of the server. That's why only the person who are authorized will be able to connect, check. You haven't server, the access set server. You are protecting why only the person who are authorized uninterrupted moving everything, check. But anybody can walk into that room and it's a pen drive server. You are protecting why only the person who are authorized want anybody to go nearby the server, check. But getting the data, that's why it's a pen drive server to be protected, and only the person who wants anybody to go nearby the server have access to getting the data. I was talking about the data center. What is a way forward? How do we make all this anybody conditions have access to? If you have to host the server, I was talking about data center. What is just a pictorial representation of anybody conditions how it have looks like you have to host the server, and it hosts different servers and the network. It's just a factorial level it's hosted in looks like and it doesn't. Different. So let's see what a data set is. Just the factorial level. This is hosted in servers. All this that data centers. Different. So let's see what a data set is. These are the servers. These are the front hard disks that all this and there are multiple servers. Let's see what a data set is. These are and on the backend side there are cables, these orange lines that you see, and there are multiple cables which are connected. This is how an interior side there are cables, data and lines that you see, and there are multiple, and at the bottom you see this exploring. It has a small pool, so that all data which will be emitted by the servers, and at the bottom you see it as exploring cooling arrangements. So that so as I said, building dedicated space by the servers, and servers now it requires significant infrastructure that we are already spoken about. So as I said, building dedicated space by the servers, and security, and now it requires significant infrastructure that we are already spoken about, because you don't want the server dedicated space by the servers and security down, and now it requires significant infrastructure without infinite, because there are lots of server dedicated space all the applications that we're using. If the server goes down, the connection will down, because there are a lot of end user in the server dedicated space. That's why all these arrangements, the applications that we're using, building it secure of course. So there are a lot of end user named Halliburton. That's why all these arrangements. I got a chance to visit the data center. Building it secure of course. Had an experience about there are a lot of end users named Halliburton. Similar kind of security. I got a chance to visit the data center. Everybody has a identity card. There are various similar kind of security. I got a chance to visit their data center. Then everybody will be thrown a check. Then I will get a chance to get into the data center. It is that secure. Then everybody will be thrown a check. Zones are created in company. If it is a huge data center, my requirement is not that secure. Then 10,000 zones are enough. What company if it is a huge data they build a data center, my requirement is not that give space. 10,000 other companies enough separate zones. What company if it is a huge data they build a data center, my network infrastructure is all about the routers, other companies enough separate zones. What company if it is a huge data everything that goes into the network infrastructure is all about the routers, other companies. Storage infrastructure is all about storage. Everything that servers in storage service has SAN, everything that you require to store the data is all about storage infrastructure. Everything and the computing resources have SAN server. Everything that you require to store the data is breaking storage infrastructure barrier that you have, and the computing imagine this infrastructure the network infrastructure, storage infrastructure, and data is breaking storage. Most of these areas that you have, and computing imagine this if you have storage infrastructure, the network infrastructure, storage infrastructure, network infrastructure, the racks will be bit smaller. These areas, but again you will get the same imagine picture. If you have storage infrastructure, just half of the server, and there will be a network switch. The racks will be bit smaller. Most of the things will be same. Once you inside the data, just half of the server, and there will be. Alright, let's see what types will be smaller in the data settings will be same. First one is an enterprise data center. Alright, let's see these are built by companies and their data settings who stay on the corporate. First one is an enterprise. Let's take an example of Swami Vivekananda College by college. You have different data settings whose connectivity you have for internet. All this setup that we have is in Swami dedicated by college IT person will have the data settings that basic you have for internet. All this set data centers in the college. Now, if you increase that scale and think about big companies, that is, the data center will be huge. All this set data center, but it will be in the college. Now, if you take an example, scale, Wipro, when I was working with the Hinjewadi, the data center will be huge. They had a small setup. It will be in the college. Data center. Now, that is, if you take an example, enterprise data. Wipro, when I was working with the Hinjewadi, the data center will be huge. Reliance, Vodafone, data everybody has that enterprise is located on the campus with the inside the company. Reliance could be an enterprise data everybody managed service providers. Enterprise. What happens on the campus if you are not inside the company? Reliance manage if you are not able to manage data everybody own data centers. Then enterprise. There are what happens on the campus when you not manage you are Reliance manage if you are not you don't have to manage data center own college. Then you go to the company. They will put a fiber line near college. All the equipment that we have, if you are not hosted in their data center own college, you just have to pay some fees for the services that they will get. A fiber line. These are the college managed equipment that we have. If you are not hosted in their own location data center, you just have to pay some fees. This is similar to what we have seen. These are the huge data centers that we have. If you are not hosted in their own location data center, you just have to pay some fees. This is similar to what we have seen. 10 server, a huge data center. Another 10, another country. These are all data centers. Because there are everybody. This is similar to what we have seen. 10 server, these are a huge data center. Another 10, another location, data centers. Because there are cloud data centers. This is a 10 server. These are what I talked about. Amazon Web Services, Azure, or the Google Cloud Platform. These are the cloud data cloud service providers. And though everybody is saying that your information is on cloud, it's not actually on the cloud, right? I'm sure you might have learned in this cloud computing, there is one subject in your curriculum that has been recently added. So all the data that we have in the cloud, it is getting hosted somewhere else. You have no idea about it, but it's getting hosted. So the traditional data center setup is there, but it is being managed by these service providers like the AWS, Azure, or the Google Cloud Platform. So these are various types of data centers. Any questions we have so far? Quickly, just 1 minute, or if we have, we can just note it down and we'll address at the end of the session. No questions? I'll just quickly grab water. Okay, moving on to the next topic. So we have seen what a data center is and how it's being located, how the servers and all the other equipments are there. A quick question to everyone. What do you think will be a shortcoming of a data center? Anything that that comes in your mind. You have uninterrupted power supply, security, internet connectivity, but still data centers are not able to meet the requirements. What could be the shortcoming? Can anybody tell me quickly? Anything, it could be wrong. You don't have to be right.
Storage?
Storage could not be an issue, right? It's a data center. You can add as many servers you want, and the storage will be like infinity. What else? Okay, we'll see. What is a fundamental problem? It's steps to make a purchase of a new server and make it ready to use. So imagine you have a data center. Let's take an example of your college again, right? You have a dedicated room, you have a server, all the infrastructure is there. Now we have to purchase a new server. What do we do? First, a purchase order is made, right? You put a purchase order that you have to buy a new server. It's not like that you have a money and you go to the shop and you buy a server. It won't happen like that. Because server has a huge cost. 10 lakh, 20 lakhs, crores. There's a price of these servers. So you put a purchase order, it goes through an approval process, right? If somebody is from finance domain, They might understand the struggle, get the PO approved, right? Lots and lots of problem. Nobody's going to approve the PO like overnight. No, you have just put in the requisition and next day they have approved it. No, it won't happen like that. It takes time. PO has been placed. It goes to the vendor. They deliver the server. So good. Now you have a server. Now you have to do the racking, cabling, IP allocation, OS installation. Now OS installation is very critical. That which server you want. You need a Windows 2012 R2, you need 2008, you need 2016, you need a SUSE Linux, you need other flavor, a Red Hat Linux. That OS needs to be installed on that machine, right? And then the server gets ready to use. Approximately it took 3 months. Now that you have to plan this well in advance, right? So today, college thought maybe 15 days ago, now we have to take the session. If you have to arrange a server for it, you have to do the planning back in October, November. If that server is required for today's presentation, October you'll start, it will come and the server will become live in 3 months of time. Great. What if? Now, this is a very interesting. What if there is a change in requirement? In October, you put an order for an HP server ML350. That's the model number of the server. That's going to come in January. But suddenly, we came to know that the HP ML350 or DL380 server is not supporting the SUSE Linux anymore. There is a problem. What will you do? You have to put another requisition for another server. Great. There is a change in requirement. Now, what if we need a server within a week? Will you be able to get that server? No, right? As I said earlier, it takes time. Need a server just for a month. So the requirement for college of the server is just for 1 day or for a month. So there are a lot of people who are going to give the online exam. College has to make an arrangement. So for that, you have a new server. So just to support that capacity, that 500 people will be logging at that time and everybody should get that question paper able to answer, submitted without that problem. And after 1 month, you don't require the server. Oh, so you have put in like 15-20 lakh just for one. That is not a good financial decision, right? What if there is an additional server required? So everything that you have planned go as per the plan, but there is a requirement of one more server because someone gave an estimate that one server will be sufficient for providing or taking the exam of 500 people, and you realize maybe we are doing some complex questions. It's not sufficient to provide the connectivity for the 500 students. Good luck in getting that second server, right? Because the conditions are changing very frequently, right? What if the server is no longer required? You took your exams, everything is submitted, everything is good. Now you have a 20 lakh server sitting in your room, and you are no longer required. You don't need it at all. These are some basic fundamental problems one can face if you have a traditional data center set. Okay, so what was the shortcomings of it? So these are the things that I was expecting, which is scalable. If I need it, we should be able to increase the capacity. We should be able to lower down the capacity. It should be efficient. If I need the server now, I should be able to get in like maybe in 2 days, or maybe next hour I need a server. Efficient. Mobility. You should be able to move it. So if your college has one other branch coming in Tolapur, you should be able to move it as well. Cost friendly. Now, again, this is a financial term, CapEx, which is capital expenditure. If you are someone from a finance background, there will be an always pressure to reduce the capital expenditure. So high CapEx value is big no. I think there is someone talking. There is some background noise. If you could just put yourself on mute.
Hello.
Yeah, there is some background noise. Could you just go on mute, please? Okay, better. And the security concern, right? You have a 20 lakh server lying in college server room. Anybody can access it. Anybody can store it as well. So there are security concerns, right? So just to address this problem, what has happened is there is a rise of cloud computing. These are the things which we have initially talked and we'll be talking in the upcoming slides as well. Cloud computing, Amazon, Google, Azure, Microsoft Azure. These are the three main leaders who are doing the cloud computing part. So what is this cloud and how it is different from the traditional data centers? Let's see that. Cloud computing is an on-demand delivery of an IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. This is a definition, okay? That's what the definition of cloud computing is. If you can search on the Google, you'll get the same exact definition. Instead of buying or owning, maintaining a physical data center server, you can access the technology services such as computing power, storage, and database. So just to simplify the thing, if you are someone who is new to this cloud computing term, cloud is nothing but an website that you can log in from your browser. You have a Google Chrome, you can go to the Azure portal and it will be visible. It's that simple. Hosting, cabling, what kind of server, where it is hosted, do we have uninterrupted power supply, internet connectivity, security? Just forget about that. Those are the things of past. You just log in into an Azure and anything, you name it, and that service will be available on that portal. It's as simple as that. So let's see. There are three major partners or has a huge market share in the cloud. Just to touch base on this part, once you go to that portal, you can get a physical server, a virtual server, storage, database, web server, any hosting server to run your website. You name the service and it's there. So if we take this same example of a college needing a server just to conduct the exams of the students, and this will be required just for 1 week, all you can do is take a subscription. Let's take an example of an Azure, Microsoft Azure. You require one server. It could be virtual, it could be physical as well. That depends on cost. You will select the cheapest option. What is the duration that you need? All right, so you need it from 15th of Feb till 21st of Feb. Fine. And what is the bandwidth that you need? Like what is the storage? How much storage you need? You just need 500 MB or 1 GB or 1 TB, whatever you require. You put a request and the resources will be there. All you have to do is ask student to log in into that server, give the exam, store the paper, that's it. And all you have to do is pay for only that duration. That's it, you're solved. So instead of putting like 10-15 lakhs, getting the physical server, do the racking, and then putting it in some room, you can just go and whatever you need, it's there available on the Azure or just any cloud computing platform. All right. So let's see who are the major partners that we have in this cloud field. AWS is the oldest one. It started somewhere around 2002, 2003. And AWS is the major service provider. In terms of market share, the last time I checked, it has around 33-34% of the overall market share of cloud. It is one of the most widely accepted available service. Amazon Web Service, or simply called as AWS. The next one, it's Microsoft Azure. This again started somewhere around 2008 or 9. This is backed by the Microsoft Experience. If you see, Microsoft is the major player in IT industry. And it is backed by their experience. They also provide all the services we need. And they have around 17-18% of market share. It's slightly behind the Amazon Web Services. And we have a Google Cloud as well, which is simply known as GCP, Google Cloud Platform. It was started somewhere around 2005 or 6. Currently, they have the lowest share, around 4 to 5% of the market share is with Google Cloud, but they are increasing at very fast pace. Most of the time, whenever I was giving this presentation, I always get this question. So if you have that in your mind, let's park it, that which service is better? Is it AWS, Azure, or Google? And I always answer this, that there is no one size fits all. Your requirement could be different. You are looking at some different service that you are needing. So Amazon is good at providing storage services. You can go for Microsoft if you need the Office 365 because it's their own product and they know it very best. You can go for Google because the rates that they are providing are very cheap, especially for storage. So there is no like a leader or what should I follow or which service I took. Everybody has their own advantages and disadvantages, of course. So if you have any other questions on these three, just note it down. We'll address it at the end of the session. Moving ahead, this is the simple portal which I was talking about. This is portal.azure.com. All services, just leave it. So anybody who is in this call and would like to explore more on the cloud part can go into this website on your mobile or on your computer. Portal.azure.com. If you want, you can note it down. And these are various offerings that we have from Microsoft Azure. Simple one, as you can see, it's a virtual machine, an application service. You just need a storage account. You need a SQL database for the backend of your website, or it could be a static web app where you have to display your information. That's it. You don't have to take information from the user, just a static web app. It could be a Cosmos DB. Now this is an licensed copy of an Azure. It's their own database that they have created. Kubernetes service is very, very new. It's related to the Kubernetes. So Docker and container is very complete new technology which has came in the market. If anybody is interested, you can Google and search more on that. So this is nothing but the various services that they are providing. And one interesting thing about this Azure is you don't need to purchase anything. Anybody with an email ID can open an account and they are providing a credit of around 12 or 13,000 of rupees so that we can spend that money on getting whatever service you require. So if you are someone who is interested in programming or learning, let's say, I want to learn more on the Red Hat Linux part. There are some commands which I would like to try how it will work on the Red Hat Linux. Great. Create an account. You don't need any money. You can go into the virtual machine and there are step-by-step instructions given to get that virtual machine up and running within 15 to 20 minutes. So it will not take more than 15 to 20 minutes to get your Red Hat Linux machine up and running. You will get the ID of the machine and you can access that from anywhere in the world. It's that fast, it's that secure, it's that cost friendly. So I'll request everybody, there is a special login which is available for student as well. And there are few services which are provided freely by Microsoft for lifetime. So I'll request everyone to try that. It's a very interesting thing, very new. And if you are someone who would like to get into the cloud part, it has a huge demand in IT as well. You can always go learn and explore. And mind you, it's not only about learning. They also provided the training model as well. So Azure Fundamental, that is the basic certification that they have, for which they provide free training content And if you are lucky, they have some promotions running on. You can get the voucher, a free voucher to give that Azure fundamental exam, and you could be certified as well. That is a valid industry recognizable Azure fundamental certification. You can go give it a try. Any doubts you have, you can contact me. I can provide you more information if you get stuck somewhere. All right, this is about the Azure part. Moving ahead, what are the benefits of cloud? I think we have already discussed this, right? In the earlier exam, it's a low cost. If you are using that particular server just for the week, pay for the week, that's it. You don't have to purchase, you don't have to pay any upfront charges. You don't need a long-term commitment as well. That if you take the subscription, then you have to use it for 1 month. No, nothing like that. So that is the low-cost option that you have. Agility and instant elasticity. You can get the server up and running within 15 minutes. You can rack up the capacity of the server. You just put a request that I need additional servers, and you can add like 1, 2, 10, 50, 100, 1,000 servers. You can get up and running. That kind of elasticity cloud provides. That's why companies love it. It's an open and flexible, right? Whatever service you want, you select just for that service. You can pay for only the time that you want, and you can just let it go. You can say, I don't want this anymore. Now, this point is very important. The flexibility allows you to focus on innovation, not on infrastructure. Trust me, I'm an IT operations guy, and I can tell you it takes a lot of pain to maintain the infrastructure. If you have someone who is working in IT in your college, who is managing just the college infrastructure, just ask that guy how difficult it is to troubleshoot a problem if any PC is not having an internet connectivity, your website is not getting loaded, and simple application provided by college, it's not working, and everybody is behind that guy. Sir, this is not working. I want this working. I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. Make sure that everything is working. There will be always pressure on that guy. So you have to focus on that particular part, maintaining the infrastructure. Imagine the kind of a pressure that an IT person has. Especially in the COVID time, what happened? Most of the companies were working from the office. After the March, what has happened? All the companies give up work from home for their employees. There was a huge pressure on the internet. There was not enough bandwidth available. Most of the applications that we use in our day-to-day life were not working properly just because you are working from home. So if you are appreciating the effort taken by the police, taken by all the paramedical, medical staff, doctors, and all the other factors, remember, there was a huge role played by the IT personnel just to make sure everything keeps on running. So yes, focus on innovation. So your college is very good at building a website, but you need a server to host that. What cloud says, focus on building a website. Whatever server that you need, we will provide it, right? You don't have to manage the patching. You don't have to look at the operating system, IP, nothing. You need a server. This is a server. Put your code in that machine. It will get run. So focus on what you do best. You don't have to spend much time on the infrastructure. Secure, of course, if you take the same example, imagine the server is in your college room, and imagine the server at some location managed, which is by Azure. The Azure data center location will be much more secure because they are charging you some fee and they have a whole lot infrastructure to manage. So it will be more secure. All right, this is the last topic that we have in our session, which I'm going to touch base. It's virtualization. And again, this is a question to everyone on the call. Whatever little information you know about virtualization, just tell me what you understand by this word virtualization. Anybody on the call? I hope I'm audible. Is there internet connectivity or am I disconnected? Hello? Okay. It's there, right? Okay, so what do you understand by virtualization? Have you heard the term virtual server, virtual machine, virtual desktop? Anybody? Okay, no problem.
Virtual machine is not physically present. We can make an imaginary machine.
But if it's an imaginary machine, then let's say, all right, I need a Windows 2012 R2 machine with 2 CPU and 4 gigs of RAM, 1 TB of hard disk. But it won't create, right? It's just it's in my thoughts. It's partially correct, right? Virtual means virtual. Everybody is aware that what virtual word means. Gaming is a virtual word. Social media is a virtual word. So virtual server is nothing but turning an instance of a computer into a virtual. So what happens is, I'll tell you, virtualization is an older concept, okay? It's not something which is new. It's been there from like 20 years. And it gained the momentum really around in 2010. So if you have heard about the name VMware, that's the major player in the virtualization. Then Microsoft is also there, who is doing the virtualization. Okay, let's see. Virtual machine. Let me see, there is some picture of the virtual machine. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, this is the picture. So the physical server that you have, this is a pictorial representation of what your physical machine would look like. You have a CPU, one memory, you have a disk, network to connect the internet, right? So everything is there. So what's so different about the virtual machine? You have this physical hardware. You purchase the licensed copy of Windows 2016 R2. Or let's take a simple example, Ubuntu Linux. You put that in and you put your application on it. This is a typical physical server. This is a typical laptop. This is your typical desktop that you have at home. How virtualization is different from this? Look at this picture. Hardware will be there. Of course, you cannot just put a machine and imagine it and it will be there. But there is this different layer. You see this? It's called as a hypervisor. Hyper-V is the Microsoft Hyper-V. VMware provides ESXi, that is the name of the hypervisor. And then you can see the CPU, RAM, again. Then you have an operating system. So imagine this like a picture within a picture, right? So what it does is, it takes your CPU, hypervisor in between, and then takes out that CPU and present it to your operating system as a physical CPU. So this machine has 8 CPU, 10 gigs of RAM, and some disk and some NIC. Once you put in hypervisor, is nothing but your operating system, just like Linux or Windows. Once you log into this hypervisor, you will have this 10 CPU, 10 gigs of memory, hard disk space, and everything. But what it does is it separates this physical machine hardware and make it virtual. So on this same machine on which you're going to run a single instance of Windows 2012, now you can create a separate machine of 2 CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, put a Windows on it. Another 2 CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, put a Linux on it. So basically, a physical machine will be there, one single machine, but there will be separate instances of multiple machines you will get running on the same machine. What is the benefit of it? Now, this is very critical part. Why do we need an hypervisor, right? One may ask that you can put a hypervisor, but we are good with this old way. You just put an operating system and we're good. Why do we need a hypervisor in between? The reason is, imagine you have a very high capacity server and you need 4 different machines on it. With the power of virtualization, you can run all 4 machines on the same physical hardware, right? You don't have to purchase 4 different servers. That's one part. What are other benefits? For this operating system, it is presented as 2 CPU, 2 gig machine. Imagine this machine needs more resources. You need more RAM. You can take it from this machine, give it to this machine. This needs more computing power. You can completely turn off this another second machine and this machine will have more CPU. So this provides a level of flexibility in the different virtual machines. What if one virtual machine has an issue with the disk? So typically, you might have heard about the RAID configurations, where we put in the additional hard drives that if one hard drive goes wrong, the second will take place of it. Similar things happen in the virtual machine where you have multiple hard disks connected to it. This machine has some space, this machine has some space. If one hard disk goes wrong, this server will go down in the scenario of one single physical machine. But in this scenario, you can always take the another machine, another space, and give it to this machine if you have a RAID configured. So there will be no downtime for the end user. End user will always say that the machine is working, your application is running and all. This is the power of a virtual machine. So though it is being said as a virtual machine, it is hosted somewhere. It's not that it's completely virtual. You cannot create an imaginary CPU. For the CPU, you need the physical CPU. It's just that we have further bifurcation, further segregation, and we can have multiple instances of an operating system running on the one single physical hardware. That's the power of virtualization. And it's not only about the machine. So here I have shown the examples. You have server, application, desktop, network appliances. Everything is virtualized now. Server virtualization, you have seen. What is an application virtualization? In the similar manner, in the similar way, you have in server virtualization, there is an application virtualization. Can Eddie tell me what would be this application virtualization be? Any idea? It's of course a virtual instance of your actual application. Okay, let me give you a simple example. Vivekananda College is in Kolhapur. You have in Shivaji University. Shivaji University has designed one application which is dedicated to teachers, where they have to enter all the details of the lectures that you are taking, attendance, your submissions, how many maybe papers you have submitted, everything is there. But while designing this application, the university has made it huge so that it can support all the colleges within that university. Great. But on your computer or on your desktop, if you have to install that application, it takes huge space, maybe a 1 GB application. It's taking a lot of resources. Instead of that, what they can do, they can just virtualize this application, host it somewhere on the university, put a server there, and share the link to you. All you have to do is only access the module which is required for teacher, separate module. If you are a student, you have a separate module. So it becomes so lightweight that you can put that URL on your mobile and you can enter the information. That is nothing but application virtualization. You don't have to install the application on your machine. You can just use a small instance of it. You don't need much computing power. Open the application, put the information. That's it. Your part is done. That is nothing but your application virtualization. Desktop virtualization is, let's say a company has given me this laptop on which I'm taking today's session. I have all the documents which are required on my machine. But let's say one day my laptop hard drive crashes. All my data is gone. There is an option that you can put it on the drive, Google Drive or OneDrive. But let's say that is not configured. So desktop virtualization is nothing but it's again similar to the application virtualization, where I'll have a small application on my laptop. I'll just put my credential in and the desktop will come on that. Whatever work I need to do, I'll do it on it and I'll close that version. So it's again becomes lightweight. Your data will be safe and it will be secure. You will not require too much of bandwidth for that. This is nothing but the desktop virtualization. VDI is the term which is used for the desktop virtualization, VDI. And network appliances, it's you have a router, you have switches. All these physical devices has some logic, has some routing protocols in it through which you are routing the traffic. So virtualization companies have taken that logic, put it on a server. That is nothing but your network appliances virtualization. So VMware, Microsoft are in the virtualization of servers. Citrix works majorly in the application virtualization. Oracle is again the database company and they offer different options of virtualization. So I hope it's clear to you now what virtualization is. If you have to learn this, VMware is the company which provides different types of certifications in this VMware field or the virtualization field. You can start from the basic and you can go to the next level. Okay, that's it. So what are the benefits of virtualization? I think we have already covered this. Let's go through one more time. Reduce capital operating and operating cost. One for physical machine, multiple servers or computers you can run out it. Minimize or eliminate downtime. Your one hard disk goes wrong, something other is there. So we will not face the downtime. The middle layer that we have seen will take care of the downtime. Increased IT productivity, efficiency, agility, responsiveness. Of course, these are some of the benefits. Faster provisioning and application of resources, business continuity and disaster. So if you know, the business continuity is nothing but keeping the business running. If I'm an Windows admin, I have a physical server running, anything can go wrong with the hard drive. So instead of that, I'll put it on the virtual machine, and from the VMware, I can control all the aspects of the hardware and the user will not be impacted. Disaster recovery is, in case of disaster, the data will be safe at some other data center location and you can recover the data. And this is again the power of virtualization. And simplified center data management. So again, VMware has a simple console like the one that I've shown for Azure. We have one console for this VMware virtualization. So if you are an admin person, administrator, you can log in and you can see how many machines are there, what are the operating, what is the CPU consumption, how much RAM is being utilized, is there issue in the hardware, all from one central location. That's the power of virtualization. Now we are coming to the end of the session. So whatever I have discussed is all IT operations. It turns out to be all right. Understand virtualization, Azure, IT operations, whatever that you assume. What's in there for me? What are the career paths? If I'm passing out the BCA, I'm passing out BSc, MCA, engineering, I know only development and testing, maybe network, what else? All right, so if you are sleeping throughout the session, it's time to wake up. This is the time. This is very important slide for you to follow. Azure, AWS, GCP, these are the three cloud platforms. Each cloud has, I believe, 10 to 15 sections in it. You could follow the administrator path. You could follow the DevOps path. You could be a developer. You could be a tester. You could do coding. You could design the pipelines. You could do the front page. front-end designing. You could be a database administrator. You could be an ETL developer. So in each path, all this 10 to 15 path, they provide at least 5 certification. Right from the basic, it goes to the expert level. So here you will find at least 50 different career paths that one can follow. All right, you just have to Google it, go to this Azure or AWS or GCP path. All the training material, all the material that you need for the clear the certification, it's then there ready. If you have a time, explore, and I'll suggest get certified in any of the technology you feel which is easy for you. What is the next path? The admin path, that is your Windows admin. If you have a Windows machine, you could be a Windows admin. You could be a storage admin. So these servers that we have, it's not that it only has a hard disk. There is a separate career path where you can make your career in storage. EMC is the major company which provides this storage cabinets. And there is a separate opening comes in the company as a storage admin. You could be a Linux admin. Same as Windows, there are Linux admins. There are backup admins as well. All the machines that we have has to be backed up somewhere. There is a specialized career path only to take the backup of machine. You could be a database administrator, DBA. That again comes under administrator. So in this administration, you will find 10 to 15 different paths. Again, in everything, you have a certification to follow. You can follow that path. DevOps is the latest concept, which is very new. So it has been around like 5 to 6 years now. This is really gaining the momentum. What DevOps is, in a layman's term, is you are a development person, you are an operations person, an admin. Now they have combined both. I don't want someone who can do the coding. I don't want someone who can manage the server. I want both of them. You can do coding. You can manage the infrastructure as well. If you're coding in Java, you're writing a code, you need a machine to run on it. How to turn on that machine? You should know that. So what they have done, development part, operations part, they have combined in between, and that's how the DevOps has born. There are many paths specialized in DevOps as well. Just Google it. Everything is there. ITIL. So initially, if you remember, sir has mentioned that I'm certified in ITIL. ITIL is Information Technology Infrastructure Library. Version 4 is, of course, it shows the version of it. So there is a huge demand of this certification and the people working in operations. ITIL explains how one can manage an NOC, Network Operations Center, SOC, which is Software Operations Center. It's a typical setup where you have teams of L1, L2, L3, monitoring, ticketing, incident management, change management, problem management, release and deploy management. Everything, all these careers comes into the ITIL part. There is no prerequisite for doing the ITIL certification. If you are someone who is interested in exploring more on the operation part, you can do this certification, ITIL V4. What else? ServiceNow and Salesforce. These are again companies which provides a tool which is being mainly used in this ITIL operations part. There is a centralized tool. Salesforce provides that tool. HP ServiceNow provides that tool. In this, there are different openings. You could be the one who is taking care of the tools itself, doing the coding, or you could use that and see what are the different aspects of it, how you can use it. There is a separate career for that as well. ETL tools. Now, as I said, I work in Teradata, and Teradata is mainly into the enterprise data warehousing, which do a lot of analytics part. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, load. The data is coming from one part. You have to extract it, you have to transform it and load it into the systems like Teradata, Oracle, CosmoDB, or any other database that we have. There are middle tools which are available that one can follow. Very famous tool is Ab Initio that you can use. There is a huge scope for that certification. That's about the ETL. What else? Telecom operations. So telecom, not many people know that telecom also comes under IT. And telecom is nothing but your phone infrastructure. So this small device, the phone that we are having, it's connected. How it is connected? It's connected to the nearest tower that we have. The tower connected to the MSC. Then the MSC is connected to the BSC. There are servers, there is connectivity, there is a radio access network, there is a LAN, WAN. There are different technologies. All these are being managed by the IT people only. So you can pick one technology, RAN. Just in giving an example, radio access network, which is the tower, and you can do certification and you can do your whole year career in just one small part, which is RAN. So these are the different career options that I have talked about. This is a very famous quote. I like to end this session with this one. There is nothing permanent except change. Change is the only constant thing. And if you are someone who is willing to come into the IT part, you have to keep on changing. You have to keep on upgrading yourself. You should be very good at learning new technologies. So there is nothing permanent but change. So these are the topics that we have covered, and now it's 11:15 already. So I think we are in time. We have completed our session for today, and I would like to open the session for everyone to ask any question you have. Thank you very much, and thank you for being very patient.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful session. I hope this is very useful for us. Now I request all the participants, if you have any doubt, please ask. All the participants, can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible, visible.
Anybody having any doubt?
Any topic, it could be from student, from the faculty members, anybody. You can ask me so that we can discuss more on it.
Or anyone interested to give the feedback about this session? Please give your feedback. Anyone? Anyone from participant? Okay, all of you getting, I think so, all the topics that the sir was covered. Okay.
That was very surprising, Megha. So whenever I do this session, there are two possibilities. Either I get lots and lots of questions, or I'll get no question at all. So there are two possibilities in this one. Either you get everything, whatever I have explained, or anything at all. I hope the first possibility that we have, whatever we have discussed, you're able to get everything. I think Kolhapur people are very smart in that case.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think so. Anyone don't have any doubt about your
Hello.
session?
Yes.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
How can we just get placed in cloud computing services?
Okay, that's a very good question, and I think it's good that people are seeing what is it's there for me session. So if you're listening to the session, learning isn't optional, right? You can go and learn, but cloud is not something. It's not a company that is hiring people. Cloud is predominantly used by many companies. Any companies, you take a name, big MNCs like Tech Mahindra or Wipro, Infosys, TCS, or any other companies like Teradata or anybody, everyone is using cloud. So all you have to do is learn. Getting place is up to your college, because I think that is the challenge that everybody face, getting your first job. So this is for everyone. If you're getting an opportunity, heart open and grab it open-heartedly, because it's really difficult to get into the IT part. That first experience, first company. Once you are experienced, there are lots and lots of openings there. First, you have to get. So it's dependent on the college, or you have to search for yourself. There are many websites which can you can upload your profile and start searching. I'll recommend Naukri.com, because that is the website where I get most of my offers. So yes, Naukri.com, go there, create your profile, highlight what you have done. If you have not done the certification, do it, because certifications have huge market. If you are certified in anything, it shows companies the confidence that yes, this person knows this. I hope that answers your question.
Any more? Any more from participants?
Sir, could you please send us the list of cloud computing certification
All right.
and
You
data
don't have to
centers?
search
Okay.
for the list. You can just go. Yes,
Google, I know, sir. But
right. Even
specifically, if
in
you
not Google, I'll tell you, portal.azure.com. So Azure is the one which is currently I'm working on. It's going here.
AZUR.
More and more information that if you have to open a VM, how do you get a VM? If you have to learn, learn.azure.com, something like that. All information there. You have career paths, all certification, what are curriculum you need to understand in order to do that certification. Just go to portal.azure.com, you'll get it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, anybody having doubt? Any more?
It's good that people are opening up now. Anybody? Yes, no, not sure, maybe.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask that where is means is the physical data center or physical server is more secure or the cloud server is more secure?
Okay, very good question. You are touching the basic aspect of the security, because more and more companies, as they are grabbing this cloud, one critical doubt that they have in their mind is about the security. So though the cloud part, whatever we are seeing, that this file is stored on the cloud, but is it really on the cloud? No. Azure has its own data center, which is located somewhere at remote location. We don't know, or they don't display that information. If you have to search, you can ask them. But taking the example of a data center, if you are taking an example of data center located in Mumbai, which is being managed by Tata, or an example of data center managed by Azure, I feel Azure will be more secure. There are reasons, okay? I'm not saying it is secure, it's just my view. Why? Because they have an expertise of managing that data center. A lot of things are at stake for Microsoft because they have that reputation to protect. If anything goes wrong with the data, whole their reputation will be spoiled and it impacts their business model. So security will be their first priority. I just feel maybe there is a 5%, 10%. Cloud will be more secure than the actual physical data center that you are going to manage. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Last few minutes.
Anyone? Any more questions? Okay, I think so. All of you clear about all the topics. Okay. So we have to, or anybody want to give the feedback? Anybody interested to give the feedback about this session? Okay, no one. So I think we are now move towards the conclusion part of this webinar. I would like to request my colleague, Ms. Vaishali Patil ma'am, to present a vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everyone. I am Ms. Vaishali Patil. I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's webinar. I would like to thank our webinar resource person, Mr. Amol Satkar sir, for visiting and enlightening us with their knowledge and interesting things. The point of where Mr. Amol sir told us about the evaluation of RT was really informative. I am pretty to sure precious knowledge that Mr. Amol sir give us will definitely help us in our studies and future. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Amol Satkar sir for taking out time from their busy schedule and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. R. Kumbhar sir, for giving permission to organize this webinar. I want to thank the student and faculty member of BCA who really worked hard to make this event a successful. Also, thank you to all participants here to paying our attention and learning. Thank you. Thank you all of you.
Thank you everyone. It was a
Now I
great.
request to Patil madam take over one again chance.
Hello. One more important notice for all the participants. The feedback link will be provided on a Telegram channel. Please submit these feedback forms. Those who are submitting responses or filling that feedback form, only that participant will get the e-certificate. Okay. So now I conclude that our session will be over. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Have a good day. Bye.